As of recording this, it is 7:15 p.m. on January 18th, meaning there is only less than 5 hours until the TikTok ban. So I made a video on the TikTok ban a couple months ago when Congress initially voted on it, and I laid out all of my thoughts there. So that will be the video linked at the end if you want to go check that out. But I am going to real quickly just kind of give you a recap on the situation, everything that's happened since the Congress vote, and everything that has everything that's transpired, and give you my overall thoughts on it. Is that guy gonna try and kill me back? Is Cricket Gamer 100 gonna try and kill me? Oh God, guys, it's Cricket Gamer 100. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I don't know if I'll be able to handle Cricket Gamer 100. I should stop. Just gonna walk past him. I'm just gonna walk past him. Come here. Oh. You almost gave me an issue. Boop. Anyway, so the TikTok ban, Congress initially voted on the TikTok ban, and obviously, it made people, uproar about it, because it is a big deal. Banning a social media app where people make their living, actually not even just, the largest social media app in the world, was getting banned. And that's a huge deal, because TikTok is where so many creators have essentially called home. Tons of people make their living off of TikTok. So yeah, it's a big deal that it was banned. So it made complete sense that people were up in arms about Congress voting to ban it. But there was a few saving graces. The biggest one was the Supreme Court was going to rule on it. The TikTok CEO, TikTok the company, they brought the issue to the Supreme Court, and I just lagged back. They brought the issue to the Supreme Court to have their ruling, because they believe the ban to be unconstitutional, which everything we saw about it clearly suggested that, yeah, it was it was unconstitutional, because it directly infringes on the free speech of people. However, just a couple days ago, the TikTok ban finally was put in front of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled it to be constitutional. The TikTok ban was constitutional. Now, I'm not here to say whether or not the TikTok ban was actually constitutional, but that's just what the Supreme Court ruling was. Now, this is a massive deal, because this means that the Supreme Court, TikTok will be banned. There's nothing to stop it. In less than 5 hours, TikTok is going to be banned, and there's really nothing anyone can do about it. Now, there are a few things that people are happy about when it comes to the TikTok ban. Let me rephrase. The situation isn't all hopeless. That's what I'm trying to say. There's one man, one man who can save TikTok. That man being President-elect Donald Trump. Trump has showed support to TikTok. He's supported it and not wanted to ban it. He's expressed support on wanting to save TikTok. And recently, we'll get to this in a little bit, but it seems like he now has the power to actually save TikTok. This guy's crouching here, acting like I can't see him. But anyways, we're going to get into the next part of the timeline. While the Supreme Court was deliberating on whether or not to actually go through with the TikTok ban and deem it unconstitutional, a guy named Ed Markey, he was one of the senators that initially voted for the TikTok ban. He came out and said, actually, let's not do that. Ed Markey proposed a bill stating that they should defer the ban by 270 days so they could deliberate more. And he brought up a ton of really, really good points that, there are so many people who make living off of TikTok and are surviving purely because of TikTok. Small businesses, creators, people of that sort. And then also, talking about the free speech. And it makes you wonder, if this guy is bringing up all this stuff right now, why is he bringing this up right now and not back when the ban was going to be in effect? Well, I can actually tell you the answer to that question. While the Supreme Court was deliberating on it, people were getting increasingly scared that TikTok was going to get banned. Now, this all happened in like the last 2 weeks, so people started to migrate from TikTok to another app called Red Note, which is basically the Chinese version of TikTok. Now, if you don't remember, the reason why Congress wanted to, or the reason they said they wanted to ban TikTok was because TikTok was a national security risk because China was stealing our data. That was the reason why they wanted to ban TikTok in the first place, or at least the reason they said why they wanted to ban TikTok in the first place. Whether or not that's true or not is still up for debate. But RedNote is owned by China. It's a Chinese-owned company. It's a Chinese app. It's made in China. It's completely Chinese owned, and people started to migrate from TikTok to RedNote purely because it was Chinese owned. And people were making jokes about it, saying that they were, some guy said that he made his username they made his username his social security number so that his RedNote guy can get a raise. So this mass migration to RedNote, which if TikTok wasn't a national security risk, RedNote definitely also is. It's a Chinese-owned company, so obviously the Congress is gonna be scared of it. Okay, the migration to RedNote scared Congress, or at least scared this. Well, yeah. The migration to RedNote scared Congress enough that they were willing to try and defer the ban to try and come up with a better solution so that the American people wouldn't protest in this way. Whether or not that was actually the reason for it remains unclear, but I think that is the reason, because migrating to RedNote was the first act of protest. Oh my god, are you serious? Are you serious? This guy? I have a guy like that in this game? Alright, well, I lost. The migration to RedNote was the first act of protest that the American people are imploring, and there will be more protests like that. So this bill was a way of trying to quell the protests and stop people from protesting to try and come up with a better solution. Alright, I'm not confident that I'll win this game just because of what I saw that asshole do, but we're going to try our best. So, Senator Ed Markey brought a bill to the Senate saying, hey, let's defer this ban by 270 days so that we can figure out a better option. And he needed he needed the bill to be unanimous. That was the only way it would go through, is if it was unanimous. In the Senate, it needed to be unanimous. And when he proposed the bill, asking for objections, nobody stood, except for one man. And his name is Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas. Oh my god, I almost... No, don't you dare! Oh my god, I'm gonna die now because that guy pulled out a gapple in the luckiest moment of his life. Okay, whatever. So this guy, Tom Cotton, stood up to object for the deference of the ban. And he was, if you might actually recognize this guy, he was the same guy who couldn't get through his head that the CEO of TikTok was not Chinese and that he was Singaporean. Same guy being blatantly racist. So Tom Cotton stood up, effectively just, putting himself out of a job by standing up and objecting. And that's why the deference of the ban by 270 days will not be going through. Look at that guy. That was really good. And then the Supreme Court made its ruling saying that the TikTok ban was constitutional. So basically everything was set in line for TikTok to actually be banned. Everything is in motion. Everything is in motion. TikTok will be banned on the 19th. The only thing was that we didn't know how it would be banned. There was a little bit of debate about it. Most people would say that the app would just be removed off the App Store and that would be it. And it would slowly deteriorate on our phones because you can't update the app anymore without it being in the App Store. Other people said that it was just going to go dark. And I don't know if it will go dark, but it would be kind of funny if it did just go dark. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what happens. But there's more to this story, though, luckily. Can I kill this guy? He has better armor than me, but I have a better sword than him, and I'm also better than him. Let's go. So the only thing that could stop the ban was the president. The president can sign in. I don't know what it is. I think it's like an executive order or something. It's something like that where you can sign it so that the sell-by date is literally what it is. The sell-by date can be deferred by 90 days, meaning we would have 90 more days for TikTok because the TikTok would have 90 more days to sell to an American buyer. But Joe Biden already said that he wasn't going to do that. But recently, the Biden administration made a statement saying that they were going to turn that power over to the Trump administration, meaning TikTok's fate is now in Trump's hands. So Trump can decide to do this 90-day deference and give TikTok 90 more days to sell itself. Or he cannot, and it will just stay banned. But one thing that is certain is that TikTok will be gone for probably a few days. I actually got a notification on TikTok stating that TikTok would be inoperable, and that, you know, they would be working to get TikTok up and running back in America as soon as possible. So TikTok will be gone for a few days. It's just up to whether or not Trump will sign the deference soon, later, week. It could be any point, and it could be whenever, but it will be gone for at least a few days, at least until he signs it. It probably, I do think he will sign it, considering all the factors, but we'll find out. I'm sure we'll find out. One thing is for certain, TikTok will be going dark for a couple days. Whether or not, oh hey look, whether or not that's going to be permanent or not remains to be seen. But now I want to take a moment, and we're going to put our theorizing brains together about what the future of TikTok holds. So TikTok will be gone for a few days. And in that time, I'm sure many people will be up in arms about it. But one thing we do know is that Trump has expressed support for TikTok and wanting to save it. Whether or not he will remains to be seen, but I personally think he will, given a few factors. One factor is that the CEO of TikTok will be at his inauguration, and he also met with him at Mar-a-Lago. The CEO of TikTok has been meeting with Donald Trump, meaning something is happening, we just don't know what it is. Can this guy not fireball me like a loser? Did he just potion? Dude, what do you want from me? So, the CEO of TikTok met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and we don't know what they talked about, but we can only assume the only thing that could potentially save TikTok at the moment is if TikTok sells. Now, Trump does have the option to just not enforce the ban, but that probably won't help anything. So the only real thing that could happen is that the ban is that TikTok sells. But the question is, who would they sell to? Well, I have the answer to you in the form of Mark Zuckerberg, of all people. This guy's gonna win. This guy's gonna kill him because he's tryharding at Minecraft Bed Wars. Mark Zuckerberg is the most likely buyer for TikTok at the moment. This is mostly because of a couple things we know to be true. Oh my god, I almost just fell off. When the TikTok ban was being voted on, a bunch of the senators and congressmen started putting money into Meta stock, which by the way is pretty clearly corporate lobbying. Am I wrong in saying that? Obvious corporate lobbying aside, it's pretty clear that something is happening. Either the Congress is banning TikTok to give Meta an edge, or that's a diamond sword. Oh my god, get fucking wrecked. So it seems like the most likely buyer is Meta, for the reason that a bunch of congressmen put money into Meta, or they have stock in Meta, something of the sorts. It's likely that Congress was banning TikTok to give Meta an edge, but I don't think that would help all that much, since I would rather chop my arm off than watch an Instagram reel. However, there could be the other option that Mark Zuckerberg and Meta is intending to buy TikTok, which actually seems like the most likely scenario. Now, I don't know if that's better or worse. Personally, I don't think I could stand another fucking app that's being under Meta's control. That's just my opinion. But one thing we do know is that looking at the facts and what we know and everything that's come out about it, it seems incredibly likely that TikTok... What is happening? It seems incredibly likely that TikTok will be sold to an American buyer, most likely Meta and Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think it will be sold to Elon Musk, but I can say for certain that that would be the worst case scenario. Anyways, that's just the chain of events that have gone on, and also just my speculation of what the future of TikTok holds. I think it's most likely going to get sold to Meta, and that Mark Zuckerberg will be under control, which isn't the worst thing that could happen. The worst, and if you're wondering what the worst thing that could happen is, I just said it. It's the worst thing that could happen is if Elon Musk buys it. Oh my god, the lag is painful. The only thing worse than Meta buying is if Elon buys it, and I genuinely, I cannot have that. This is awful. Oh my god. What are they playing from the fucking moon? Why is the lag so bad? Die. There we go. Now I do want to point out a couple things that people have pointed out, that the TikTok ban is pretty clearly a result of corporate lobbying. If you don't know what corporate lobbying is, it's basically corporations, billionaires, people like that, paying Congress to enact laws that directly help their business, which is exactly what the TikTok ban is. And we can pretty clearly see that in the Meta stocks. In like the congressmen having stocks in Meta, they're doing things to make money. That's what they're doing. It's obvious. They're not trying to hide it. It's basically public knowledge at that point. And I'm not gonna talk about it very much because it's really simple. It's really simple and pretty much everyone can tell. So I'm not gonna talk about that too often or too much. Is it corruption? Yes. Is there anything I can do about it right now other than talk funny while playing Minecraft Bed Wars? No, there's really nothing I can do. Thanks for that fireball. That really helped me. So I think I've said everything that I needed to say. My opinions on it, of course, my opinions on it are all laid out in the original video I made. I personally don't think TikTok should be banned. I think it's an infringement on free speech. But I don't know. It's all just so complicated and weird that things have to go down this way. There are some people that clearly think that we can reach a better solution. Weirdly enough, Donald Trump being one of them, which is like, what timeline am I living in? Do I think Donald Trump will save it? I think he will. It's pretty clear that something is happening between him, Elon Musk, TikTok CEO, and then Mark Zuckerberg. I think the most likely buyer for TikTok is Meta, and Meta will likely be the ones to buy it. That still remains to be seen, but I fully believe that to be the case. So yeah, that's pretty much just what I think, and whether or not that ends up being a bad thing, we'll find out. Okay, Hypixel. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Whether or not Meta buying TikTok being a bad thing remains to be seen. Personally, I think it's a bad thing because it puts us just a little bit closer to one person or a group of people having too much power in the United States. But, you know, I'm a dude playing Minecraft. Don't take my word for everything. Don't take me as the lead authority. But, yeah, I think what this means for social media and you know, the United States as a whole is pretty clear. This is, like, it may not seem like a big deal, but it genuinely is. You know, this is, like, this TikTok ban, if it's not, you know, reversed, could mean a lot for so many people in their livelihoods. And, okay, well, alright. The TikTok ban could mean so much to so many people in their livelihoods. There are so many people who make their livings off of TikTok, and I even got my, you know, first big break as a content creator on TikTok. So it is a big deal to me as well. And just the ethics of banning TikTok and seeing the blatant corruption just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. I really do hope it gets shit. I really do hope it doesn't get banned and that Trump does revoke the ban or defer it, and at that point the best scenario that can happen is that it just gets sold to American buyer, which is really the only scenario that can happen at this point. Other than that, Congress would have to go in and revoke the bill themselves, which we can clearly see will not happen. So the best case scenario right now is to just hope it gets sold to an American buyer, and hope that American buyer that buys it isn't awful. I mean, I know there are rumors that Mr. Beast wants to buy TikTok, and out of the candidates that we have, I would prefer him. I would rather Mr. Beast do it. However, it still is pretty clearly, the TikTok ban is still pretty clearly an effect of corporate lobbying and also just general corruption and silencing of the American people. And while I think that might be the case, I think that is the case. I'm not going to go too in depth about it. Again, I have a video about it that will be linked. It's actually probably on your screen right now since this is the end of the video. But anyways, I just laid out. I just thought I'd lay out the timeline and give you my small little thoughts on it and what I think might happen, what I think the future of TikTok is. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.